Hello, Flosstube. I'm Pam. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. Today is the first day of October. Oh my goodness, where is the year gone? And this is Flosstube number 98. This is a channel where I talk about cross stitch, where I talk about my shop, Stitch New England, where I talk about life updates and do a little bit of rambling. Today I'm not going to be very rambly, hopefully, because I don't have a ton to show, but I have some I guess there are things I'm excited about. They're not exciting things, but they're things I'm excited about. I have a finish, a big finish, and then two things back from the framer that I'm excited to show, and then a little bit of stitching from this month. I'm not going to do a big shop update at the end of this video. My little puppy, she's not a puppy, she's 2 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old. She's little, she's the love of my life, is at the groomer right now, and they're gonna call me and interrupt this video, I am sure of it. So I'm trying to beat them to the call. Anyway, I'm trying to finish my video before the groomer calls to tell me to come pick up my baby. I love her so much. Her name is Penny. She's a Shih Tzu. If I did editing, I'd put a picture in here, but I don't, so I'm not going to. You just have to imagine her. Okay, anyway, is there anything important I need to say before we get right into it? I don't think so. It is October, which is the big month for our retreat, which happens the 17th, 18th, to the 19th. We have like 1 or 2 spots left. If you're interested, reach out to me and I'll see if we have space. And yeah, I'm super excited because we're on like the nitty gritty detail part. Like, this is the fun part. That's all I'm gonna say. The fun part of hosting a retreat. Anything else that I need? No, we're just gonna show stitching. Okay, so I have not done a lot of stitching this October. I mean, I have, but I haven't done a lot of variety because my goal was to have Sir Thomas by Glendon Place finished by the 1st of October so I could bring it across the street from the shop, not from my house, but across the street from the shop to the framer so he can be hanging on the wall by November. It will be way before November. They only take 2 weeks to frame. But anyway, so I'm gonna show him because he's done. Oh my goodness, he's so good. This is Sir Thomas, totally finished. He is probably, he may be my favorite thing I've ever done. I mean, he's not, but he's up there. He is top 10 for sure. He's top 5. He was so much fun. I did him on 28 count antique white linen. I'm gonna get you up close because he sparkles, people. He sparkles. So he sparkles, I don't know if you can be able to see the sparkle everywhere, even in the corn. There's silk lame. He's not gonna sparkle. He's feeling a little bit shy. If you don't see the sparkles, it's because sometimes he's a little shy. And then there's beads. So there's beads in the wheat stalk. There's beads everywhere. Like there was a ton of beading. Oh my goodness. Beads down there. There's just, can you see him sparkle? Oh, I hope you can, because I mean, I could look at him all day. He is stunning. I love him. I can't wait till he's in the shop all the time. I did want him on my wall this November in my house, but we moved in March and we just closed on our old house on Friday. And we just haven't settled into the new house yet. Like we were still literally bringing things over from the old house the day before the closing. So he's gonna get wasted in my house in November. So he's gonna hang out in the shop until next November, where he'll grace us with his presence at home, and then he'll come back to the shop. And oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to go across the street and get him framed. Speaking of going across the street, a few weeks ago, I had a few things framed, and actually I have something there. When I go across the street after I'm done with this video, I'm going to be dropping Sir Thomas off and picking up one. So I'm going to have it back from the framework to show you next time. But I wanted to be able to show you Sir Thomas before I had him framed. So, well, that'll be exciting because we may have two back from the framers again from the next video. But anyway, so I brought two things over a few weeks ago, and I love this. It's so cute. So this is Grimm's Haunt by Plum Street Samplers. And I love those little pumpkins. They're so creepy. I did not put glass on him. I find that things that I have that hang out in the shop show better without glass. So he has no glass, but he is puffed out a little. He has a little bit of batting underneath him. But it does make, with no glass, it makes him nice and light and easy to hang in the shop. And then there's no glare when people are looking at him. And this pattern, oh my gosh, that barn was so fun. Makes me want to stitch it all over again. That's not true. I hate stitching things twice, but almost it makes me want to. So cute. So yeah, I went with a simple brown frame with that one. This one though, this one is hanging out at the shop until the retreat. And then she's going to go on the ta-da table at the retreat. And then she's going to go home and hang in my bedroom. And I cannot wait. So, oh my goodness. I love this frame. I love it. It feels like swirly, like the wind that's blowing the leaves around in the picture. They did such a good job. And I went with the UV resistant glass because this is Touching the Autumn Sky. I guess I should say that first. This is Touching the Autumn Sky by Mirabilia. It is an out of print chart. It has been my unicorn chart. So, I mean, my stitching life is complete now that I've stitched her. If I never stitch anything else, it'll be fine because she's done. I can't wait. I can't wait to put her on the wall. I love this frame. So she's going to hang out on the ta-da table at the retreat. Also at the retreat, we are going to be raffling her chart for charity. So I'm kind of excited about that. Oh my God, I feel like every time I have showed, she's my number one. Like, she's my favorite thing I've ever stitched. Or at the very least, I guess I should say she's my favorite thing I've ever finished. Sir Thomas might be my favorite thing I've ever stitched, but she's my favorite thing I've ever finished. And I just could look at her all day. She's been hanging out in the shop, and sometimes I just stand in front of her and look at her, and like 5 minutes go by. One more time. I can't. I'm so excited about her. So those are my finishes and my back from the framers. And then what if I stitched the rest of this month? I am doing the Owl Forest embroidery stitch along this year, and it's like mushrooms and toadstools. I think that's the name. It might not be the official name. I've been asked some questions about this one every time I show it. You have to get it from Owl, like the bird, hoo-hoo, Owl Forest embroidery. And I think it's .co.uk. And I will put their website down in the description box. The patterns are free and you can stitch them on whatever fabric you want. You can stitch them with DMC. I opted to go for the Owl Forest embroidery fabric for the stitch along, and you get the fabric. There might be another way to get the fabric. I don't know, but I got my fabric through their website. If they're out of stock, I know it's gone out of stock a few times. It's come back in stock. You can always email them and see what the story is with their stock if they don't have it in stock. And then I did the Owl Forest threads as well. So I will also say though, when you order the floss through Owl Forest, you have options on what kind of base floss you want it to be. So I picked the DMC base floss. So here is where we are at. I thought that I was all caught up, like at the beginning of the month. That's not true. I thought that I was in a better place to be caught up at the beginning of the month. I spent like a whole week just working on this, and now I'm behind again because I haven't touched it since because I wanted to get Sir Thomas done. So I'm like super behind. There's all sorts, it might even be finished. I'm honestly not sure what's left for this. I know there's stuff down here that's happening. And I'm not even down there. I haven't even finished up here. So, but since you've seen it last, I have stitched, I think this situation, these mushrooms over here. I think I finished, I don't remember if I even had the yellow one in the middle done the last time you saw it. I could have. I made a decision that I was going to do the border, which I originally was not going to do. So now I'm having to play catch up on the border. That sounded funny. Catch up, not ketchup, like the condiment. Anyway, so now that Sir Thomas is done, I can go back to stitching on this every Wednesday and maybe even give it like, not every Wednesday, sorry, every Sunday, and maybe I'll give it every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday until it's caught back up because I don't want this like hanging out with me too much into next year. It's really fun to stitch on though. It's 30 count linen, and I think I kind of really love 30 count linen. I don't stitch on it a lot. Okay, and I have it in my cute little mushroom project bag. Like, there's something about a matching project bag with your project that like brings joy. I don't know why. All right, I need a sip of my morning caffeine, which is soda today, and not coffee. Okay, and then the other big thing I'm trying to get done this year is, I'm not trying to get it done. I am getting it done this year. Sometimes words matter. And that is a year at Hawk Run. Actually, a lot of times words matter. But anyway, a year at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. I am on the last block down here, the December block. And it is being stitched on 40 count linen, Legacy by Picture This Plus. Which is a whole lot of not fun for me. And here is where we're at. So, I mean, I'm working on that bottom block. So since last month, I think all I've really done is you're probably not even gonna be able to see, I've done some words. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Christmas, it's just Christmas right now. But it is gonna come out not tomorrow night, but next Thursday, because I host a Zoom every month on the second Thursday for folks who are stitching Hawk Run Hollow, any Hawk Run Hollow pattern, but it has to be a Hawk Run Hollow. And you are always welcome to email me, see if I've got space. We are getting close to me cutting it off again. So if you want to get in on the Hawk Run Hollow stitch along, make sure to email me within the next well, actually, if you want to get on for next week, you need to email me before next week. But email the shop, stitchnewengland@gmail.com, which is always down in the description box. And so my plan for that one is to put the last stitch in on December 31st. I'm hoping that it's just the last stitch and that I'm not like trying to cram 300 stitches into December 31st, because that would make me unhappy. But I mean, it's possible that that's what's gonna happen. Okay, and then I did a leap year start this year, and the idea is that I take it out on the 29th of every month and at least work on it on the 29th, but possibly even the last few days of the month. And then I don't think I've taken it out since July. So it came out this month. It is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. She's a big gal. But super fun to stitch on, because even if my plan is to at least get one tree done every month. Ideally, I'd like to get a few trees done every month. This month was just one, and that's okay. That is A-okay. I am stitching it on 32 count vanilla cream, linen by Atomic Ranch. And here is where we're at. Am I showing you the back or the front? The front, okay. And what did I do? I did this tree right here. So I think that's the only thing new since last time, is that tree, which almost doesn't kind of look like a tree to me. It looks like a topiary, which is a topiary a tree? I'm not sure. It's kind of a weird thing to have in the forest, but I like the colors. And inevitably, when I tell you the floss list for this thing is like 3,005, I'm gonna show, like this is the floss list. And I think I have every floss until the 29th rolls around and I go to pull my floss for the tree that I'm doing, and I always don't have one. Always. I'm missing a floss. She's gonna be big too because I'm doing her on 32 count. And if I had gone with like a 36 or a 40, she would have been smaller, but there's no more 40 count starts are happening in my life. Okay, and then lastly, I told you this was gonna be a fast one. Lastly, I had a new start. So I didn't start it on the first day of fall, but it is my fall start for 2024. And I know that I've talked about this. I recently made a 5-year plan. It's not set in stone, but I planned out definitely the rest of the starts for this year. And the idea is that I needed to look at the charts that I already owned and start plugging them into spots over the next 5 years. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna keep doing all new starts from things that are brand new and never stitching the things that I own and I love and I had always planned on stitching. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this. The shiny and the new are always seem like more fun, but I've literally had this chart in my stash for 20 years. And it was in my mother's stash before that. And I've always wanted to stitch it. And until plugging it into my 5-year plan, it probably would have just languished in my stash. So it is by the Irish Hare. The copyright on this is like 1995. It's like a million years old. My mother's had it since like 96. And I'm doing this over here. It's called A Little Seasoning Number 2. And I know it's gonna be like all blurry. It's a little fall tree. It's got a little cat and it's super adorable. And I've always wanted to stitch it. So I started, I think this is 28 count linen. It was unlabeled in my stash. So I have to actually go back and count it to see what it is. Because now here's the thing. Because this is A Little Seasoning Number 2. Which implies that there are other little seasonings that I don't own, and now I need them. So I got on the internet, and like, I'm showing my age. I just felt like an old person. Anyway, not that there's anything wrong with being an old person, but you know, sometimes when you feel like, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like technology is like whooshing past me at this rate I can't keep up with. And I just felt like in my head, I pictured myself getting on my AOL and waiting for the dial-up to happen so I could get on the internet. And anyway, okay. I said I wasn't gonna ramble and I'm rambling. What the heck was I talking about? Okay, so I got on the internet and I was able to find number 3 and 4 and 5, and I think there's only 5. I could be wrong, but I cannot find number 1, and now it's killing me. So if you know where I can find number 1, please let me know. But so I did order the rest because, well, other than number 1, because I couldn't find it. But now I have to stitch them all. So I got to figure out what count this fabric is. So they're all the same size. So I can just maybe put them in like a swap out frame. Or if I only end up stitching 4 of them, maybe I'll put them in like a window pane sort of situation. I'm not sure, but either way, I need to stitch them all now. So here is a little seasoning number 2. I started this on Sunday. There were a few of us who got together at Panera in Plainville and stitched. And so I started this there on Sunday, and then I stitched it yesterday at the car dealership while I was getting my car serviced. And I feel like this is going to stitch up so fast. I could have this done by the end of the year. I probably won't, because I'm going to put it away and focus on other things. But the next time, like, this is probably like less than 5 stitching sessions and it'll be done. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how fast it's stitching up, which means the others will stitch up fast too. And now I am on the lookout for number 1. I was able to find number 2. One of them I found on Etsy and one of them I found on eBay, and the other one I had to get from like crossstitch.com or something like that. But nobody had number 1, which was, made me, I don't even know what it looks like. So there is that. That was my stitching for September. I hope I'm not forgetting anything I stitched. I am forgetting something I stitched. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm not going invisible. I'm just stepping over there. Like not even 30 seconds. I'll be back. Okay. I will be back because I forgot something that I was stitching. And I'm singing you a song because you're on hold. Okay. At the shop, I got awful tired of stitching on the quilting piece I was doing, quilting ABCs. I needed a break. So I brought one from home because it was fall and it felt like it needed to be worked on. This is Haunted by Kathy Barrick. And I'm stitching it on 32 count oyster something by Fox and Rabbit. Shoot. It might just be oyster, but it might be oyster shell. I'm not sure. The word oyster's in there. It's by Fox and Rabbit. I'm stitching it with the MPI Silks. And here is where we're at. Let me fold the fabric in half so you're not seeing through it. So I worked on these crazy little pumpkins down here. They're so funny. I can't. Crazy little pumpkins. I love jack-o'-lanterns, but I like small ones. Like, I don't know that I want to do a big, huge jack-o'-lantern piece, but I like little rows of jack-o'-lanterns. I think they're so fun. And then I worked on just laying some bricks. So, okay, anyway, I'm building a house made out of brick. Is it a house or is it a mausoleum? You know, I'm not sure. I think it's a house, or maybe a crematorium. I'm not sure. It's very spooky. So that's what I've been working on at the shop. And then I got my fabric of the month from Oak Crown Studios. And what was it called? Hold on. I get the 32 count, although I just was really bad. And I also subscribed to the 28 count because I'm torn between whether I want to do my Fancy Folk on 28 counts or 32, because in putting the beads on Sir Thomas, I was extremely thankful that I did him on 28 count because I don't think those beads would fit on 32 count. So I think now it depends on which memorabilia I'm doing and whether I decide to do a 32 or 28, and I wanted to be able to have options. And that's why I joined this Fabric of the Month Club, because she does really great fabrics, I think, that are good for that sort of thing. So anyway, it is called Healing Potion, and it was the September color, and it was similar to the August color, except that it had more pink and less green. And here, I can't. She does like the most amazing dyeing. I'm gonna fold it in half so you can see it like more saturated. Like, oh my gosh. I just want to star all the fancy ladies now so that I can use this fabric. I have to be like, Pam, hold your horses, because I am definitely not starting as many things next year. I'm going to try to get my whip list under 20 So I'm only allowed to have 7 starts next year until I get my list under 20. And that is that for me. The only other little bit of shop update that I want to say is that the newsletter is going to go out tomorrow. And please pay attention to the shop hours that I'm going to have posted in the newsletter, because the retreat is this month. The shop does have some closures that'll be happening. And that will be listed in the newsletter. So keep an eye out for that, so that you don't show up at the shop and be like, oh my God, no one's here, and now I'm sad. And then I'll be sad, and then nobody wants to be sad. Yeah, I think that's it. I did want to add, because I know we have lots of stitching friends and family down in the areas that have been impacted by Helene. I hope that you are all safe, and if you need to reach out to me and need any sort of help, let me know. Yeah, because that's been devastating to watch. And that's it for me. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and happy and getting lots of stitching in. And that's it. I will see you all next month. Bye, everyone.